Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रत जगचार्य स्तोत्र सत्श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन गेस्ट इसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की स्कान फाउंडर आचार्य डिवाइन ग्रेस शिला प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन धाम की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवदीप धाम की मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथ क्षेत्र नीलाचल धाम की गंगा जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की भक्ति देवी की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की संवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. So I was thinking what I should speak about so others could get the benefit coming closer to Krishna. So it was mind control. In Bhagavad Gita, many places, mind control, many topics. Second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, sixth chapter, many chapters are dedicated to mind control. Because mind or man, that is the main thing that if you could control the mind, maneva manushanam karanam bandha moksha, we could be free from this bondage into this material body and go back home, back to Godhead, or could remain in the material world. From time immemorial, we are in the material world because we get conditioned. Condition means we get used to doing whatever we have done, what test that we get here in the material world from sense enjoyment, because we don't read the scripture, do not go to see some saintly people, and that way we don't know what is our goal. To know the goal is very important. What should be our goal? Goal would be ultimately goal for everybody because we belong to the spiritual kingdom. We all should go to the spiritual kingdom in any way to serve Lord Krishna. We are all his children. Uh, so, so we are all his children. So Krishna is looking for us to come back home. We are in the way, and unless we come to our spiritual kingdom, we cannot be happy. When we tour so many places, there is always difficulties in touring. There is always some problem, but we all look forward to come back home. Children, they cry, let us go home. Children are in the school, let us go home. They all want to come home. So where is our home? So we have to know what is our home. So we know from Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the Samam Bonam. He created this world. He has given us the instruction in every way that uh, how to come back home, back to Godhead, back to Him. He is looking for us. We are all spiritual beings. This material body is dead. Material body has no substance. It is alive because of the soul. So soul has a relationship. Soul is eternal. The body is temporary. Body is going to vanish, go away. So how that unless we go on an eternal atmosphere, just like fish, fish's atmosphere is in the water. If it goes out of the water, it cannot survive. It will naturally it will be sick. It will be flutter around like somebody. The fish sees outer sand particles, very shiny, very glittering, and she jumps sometime and comes on out of the water and goes further and further to enjoy more and more, but she can't enjoy. She will be suffering out of because of the oxygen. So only for her way to be happy or come back again if she comes into her natural atmosphere. So if some saintly person picks up that fish and puts her back in the water, she would be surviving, she would be happy. Same thing we have to be put back in our own natural environment. This environment here is not really natural. Neither it is our home. We think that it is very pleasing because we have been conditioned by putting our senses in contact with the sense objects. We have been putting that from all the time, and we have become so much used to that getting that taste that we don't want to leave it. But unless we read scriptures, unless we talk, come to the temple, take prasad, and unless we are purified, our heart is contaminated. Uh, we are Krishna conscious, everybody, because we are part of Krishna and we are Krishna conscious. But we have forgotten that. And we have to revive that Krishna consciousness. We cannot be happy because Krishna, who has created us, he is giving us this formula what to do. He is giving us everything. So I will give that few people that who just some history that so we have to one thing that if something is happening wrong, then we become either we become envious or we want to take revenge from him. But better that we just forget and forgive. If that is done, then naturally, just like Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed when he was thirsty. He was cursed and by a little child like Shamik Rishi's child, Shrangi, and he cursed him to die within 7 days because by mistakenly or in a rage of like thirst and hunger, he just put a dead garland on Shamik Rishi. But his son cursed him to die. Such a severe punishment. Even Shamik Rishi did not like that. But at the when he came back, he said that, oh, okay, I was cursed, that's fine. He just goes to, so he did not really mind, he did not counter curse. He could have removed that curse if he wanted to. He was so powerful, he was the king of the whole planet. And he had, but anyway, he did not, he says, that is the my destiny, let me take it. So also the same way, we should take our destiny. What is there, what we have done in the past lives, it automatically comes. We don't have to work so hard or don't have to look for something like that. Distress comes without any asking for us. It comes automatically. So the happiness will also come. So we should just wait and just see. So Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj was so much punished by his own father. You could look, means because he did not accept him, Hiranyakashipu is God, and he was punished to be killed like. But he did not mind. At the end, even he is asking Narsimha when he appeared that please forgive my father and give him liberation. It says, Narasimha Bhagavan says that it's not just your father, but 21 generations will be liberated because you are in that family. So, anytime if there is a child who becomes Krishna conscious from very childhood, and that is our duty to raise the children in Krishna consciousness. So, they become lover of God, thinking of Krishna all the time. And you see, like Drupad Maharaj and this Dronacharya, they were friends, schoolmate in the beginning. And then Drupad one day just said that I will be the king because he was king's son, and then I will give my half kingdom to you. And Dronacharya was a poverty stricken later on, and his son would not get Aswathama, would not get even food or milk. So his wife would put some ashes in the water and let him drink that water with the ashes. So he goes to his Drupad. His wife reminds him, why don't you go to Drupad Maharaj? He's your close friend and he's a king and he will give you something. So he goes there and he reminds him what he talked in their school age. And he says that, I am a king. What do you think of yourself? You are a poor Brahman. Get out of here. So he did not really give anything, but he just pushed them away. And that remained in his heart for a long time. And he became the like military teacher of Pandavas and Kauravas. Then after he finished their teaching, he asked the Guru Dakshina. And in Guru Dakshina, he says that bring Drupad to me. You just bring him alive, win him. So first he sent all the Kauravas, and Kauravas could not do anything in front of his prowess. But when then he sent Arjun. So Arjun alone caught hold of him. He defeated him and he brought him in front of Dronacharya, his Guru Maharaj, military teacher. And so He says, now do you recognize me? So he says, so anyway, he was very much uh, like he just felt very much ashamed. And so he gave him his kingdom. He said that give me half, but he gave him the whole kingdom and just took some cows and for the milk of his son. And anyway, so that was so how it just remained. And later on, also the Drupad became so much in anxiety or so much in trouble because he could not remove this thought that Dronacharya punished me. And he by his tapasya, he got a son, Drishtadyumna, and he also got a daughter, Draupadi, and later on they the killed even this Drupad. Uh, so in this way, the people keep grudges in the heart, then whole life they become spoiled. Not only whole life, but completely for so many generations. They are defeated now, and so mind has to be controlled. Mind has to see that this is my destiny. This is has happened. I have done something wrong with this person. Even then, Kali was carrying. Trying to kill the means this Parikshit Maharaj trying to kill Kali. Then Kali's and there was no place for Kali. He says that you cannot live where there is a meat eating, gambling, intoxication, illicit relation with woman. You cannot live. And he says in your kingdom nothing is there. So then he gave him to hold over the over where gold is collected or gold is hoarded. And so anyway, that but he asked Parikshit Maharaj to the bull, whose three legs were completely gone, and she was standing only on one leg, and that was also dwindling. And she cannot say that maybe means dharma in form of the bull could not say that who is the cause. Although it was, she is seeing that Kali is right there. He is the one who has done it. He is the culprit. But she says that it may be my previous destination. It may be I have done something before, or this is what Krishna wants me to suffer. And this way, she never pointed out that Kali is the cause of my killing or cutting my all the three legs. And so that's why in our scriptures that uh, it is that if our mind has to be engaged, if it is positively engaged like in Krishna consciousness, then it is tamed, but and it is all the time engaged. And if it is not engaged properly, then it will create trouble. So one time uh, like a man was very much needed some help, so he uh, served a saintly man, and he says that okay, I will give some person who will help you in your field, in your farming and other so many others constructing. So he gave him that genie, the story of that he was given. He was a and he could do finish any work anytime, but he warned the saintly man that if you let him sit quiet, or he has to be engaged all the time, otherwise he will devour you, he will eat you away. So he says build a big capsule, big house for me, you plow this 1,000 acres of my farm, you take care of so many cows. But later on he said he would do right away anything, uh, immediately, and he will come back. So he was very much, now what to do, he will eat him. So he goes to the saintly man back again, and he says that engage him in chanting Hare Krishna mantra until I you give him some new order. Just let him just go on chanting, repeating. So that is the mind. The genie is our mind, and genie has to be engaged in something positive. Another thing that I want to tell you, that everything is done by Krishna. It's not that we are doing. We should not take any credit for ourselves that I am the doer, I am doing this thing. We should never always depend on Krishna, always think of him, always keep him in mind, and never. Can I have Bhagavad Gita if it is around here? So, uh, so mind should be engaged properly in Krishna consciousness. Then only we can win the mind. There is no other solution. There is no some quick formula that I can control the mind by my own, not in a derogative way. Just like Lord Shiva thought that I could control the mind or I could win. But when Mohini Murti came, then he could not really control himself. such a high personality. So what to say about us? He is the Supreme Lord Himself. Just so we should never, we should be all thinking of Krishna, depending on Him, surrendering to Him. So just little bit few more words. And also I wanted to show about 10 minutes of Vivek Brenda. He's a motivational speaker, very good, and he summarizes in this Bhagavad Gita verses. And that 634, that mine is Chanchala hi mana Krishna, the yeah baladharanam. चंचल हि मन कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढ़ तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायुरिव सुदुष्करम. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. And how this everything could be used in Krishna's service, it has been given by Ambarish Maharaj, that what he used to do. So I will read these verses. सवै मन कृष्ण पदारविंदयोर वाचांशी वैकुंठ गुणार्ण वर्णने करो हरेर मंदिर मार्जनादिषु श्रुतिम चकाराच्युत सत कथोदय. So King Ambarish fixed his mind. So all the senses should be used in master of the senses. Rashikesha, Rashikena, Sevanam, Bhakti, Uttama. Uttam Bhakti is using your senses to the service of the master of the senses. So mind should be at the lotus feet of the Lord, engaged in his words in describing the abode of the Lord. Means we can describe Krishna's beauty, Krishna's uh, name, form, Nam, Roop, Gun, Lila, entourage, his devotees, his hands in cleaning the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotees, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why we bring the flower that has been touched to the lotus feet of the Lord. His tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy places where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all these qualifications made him fit to become a Matpara, devotee of the Lord. Matpara. So then how we get entangled into the material world? The next verse 62 and 63 of second chapter talks about that. Dhyayate vishayan punsha संगस्तेषु उपजायते संगात संजायते काम कामात क्रोधो विजायते. So when we contemplate the objects of senses, means think about it. So our mind has three faculties: thinking, feeling, and willing. So we think. So we think first. Okay, this is very nice, or I should enjoy such and such person, or such and such by such and such sense. So that is so contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them. So that is the second stage, that he develops attachment, and so that I should have it, and then attachment, lust develops, that let me enjoy that. So thinking, that is the first stage, attachment is the second stage, feeling, and then all, like say if you think of sex, then whole your body senses becomes so much like agitated. And then the next stage, willing, means he wills that let me have such and such woman or man, and let me enjoy. And then from the lust, then anger arises. And then krodha, this from anger or krodha, bhavati sammoha. So samoha means completely an illusion. We don't know who we are, what we are doing, and samohat vismrti vibrama. We forget our memory, and sometimes like when we don't know what is happening, or we start drinking, taking a wine or alcohol, or taking certain drugs, and when our smriti, the buddhi nasho, so smriti bhranshat buddhi nasho. If smriti is gone, the intelligence is gone, and then buddhi nashat pranashati, we fall down into the material whirlpool. So in this way, this is our way of the falling down. So we should never trust our mind. That mind could be controlled. uh, just like a cheater makes fake friendship with a wealthy man, showing all kinds of faithfulness only to rob his money. Same thing, a prostitute may come, she shows very happily smiling, but when the money is gone, same thing with the friendship or family members, that they may come and they show so much care about you. But when there is that you can't offer anything, they would all be gone. Even in a tree, so many birds they come, and when the birds are coming, as long as there is fruits are, but if the when the all the leaves fell down like in the winter time, birds would not come to the tree, means they are not getting anything. When there is a nice green grass, the animals will come to graze it, but when that green grass is gone, none of the animals they come there. So that is the way. So only we have to become very, very sincere in Krishna consciousness. Sincerity is very, very important. If we, so first thing that we should offer our food to Krishna, otherwise it will create havoc. So whatever you eat, if we eat something without offering to Krishna, our mind will get agitated, and it would be very difficult to control it back again. Uh, so the formula in the world that if I enjoy, it's very nice. But more the problems, there is more pleasure later on. Initially, stress and praise. Stress means you enjoy later on, like long-term happiness for all the time. But praise is immediate gratification. I have this food, let me just eat it. I have this woman, let me enjoy. I have this money, let me go to some clubs or some place. So more problems, more pleasure. More difficulties, then there is more pleasure, because problem or difficulties are like nitric acid. The Krishna test us. The Maya Devi comes and tests us just like nitric acid. How do you know about the uh, uh, gold, if it is pure or not? And they put a nitric acid to test it. So same thing Maya Devi is testing us. Maya Devi is a servant of Krishna. You cannot say that Maya is putting us. It is we, our mind, that we think. Uh, and thinking, feeling, willing is a part of the soul. Soul will always have that. And Krishna does not, you may say, why Krishna is not controlling? He sends us Bhagavad Gita, saintly people, so many rivers, so many temples, like we are building temple in Parsipani. So many things is there. So Krishna is coming, wants us to come, but he does not uh, force us to do something. He has given us little bit independence, and misuse of the independence causes us to rot in the material world. So independence should not be misused. You may say, why did he give us independence? Otherwise, we would be like robots. There won't be any emotions. There would be any loving relationship with the Lord. So there has to be certain independence, even minute, has to be given to love someone, not forcing. Love cannot be forced. It is gained by your activity. uh, just from Bhagavad Gita, even just one tip, if you take it, one lesson you get it, that is enough to control our mind. But sincerity, if you are not sincere, sincerity, when if there is, then millions of tips will fail. So sincerity is the only thing that makes us uh, into to keep in the material world. So is it this mind control is easy or difficult? What you would say? Huh? Difficult. But abhyasena to kaunteya, if you do practice, it could be controlled. So mind control is difficult, but for the insincere, it is much more difficult. The easy or difficult is a relative term. What is easy for the sincere person is difficult for the insincere. It is up to us to make a problem easier or difficult. It is up to us whether we are. So sincerity is 100% personal, and God does not interfere or intervene in our sincerity, but his help is open to all. Anybody can take the help. So it depends on us whether it could be easy for a person who is sincere and he is not sincere. And so one the tips how to control the mind is utsaha. We should be very much means courageous. That if I remain sincere, I will become successful. We should not wait. Hopelessness should not be there. Oh, for so many years I'm a devotee. I don't have love. No. So do not become despair. Just hopelessness should not be coming there. Uh, like we are talking, asanshay mahabaho mano chalam abhyasena to konte vairagyena to vigrayate. One man boy was very, very dull, and his teacher says, you cannot remain in this class, you get out. So he saw in the way when coming home that that somebody is fetching the water from a well, and then even the hard stone and metal that got big marks on that. And I will also practice that. And I became the topmost student in the same school. So practice and habit, that could change that. And we should be firmly determined, like determination, that firm determination reaches our like, so sex control, that is the topmost. People feel that is a pressure in the material world, and that our determination, if you excessive sex kill our determination. And whenever we say an opposite sex, we must know for sure that that is the strongest agent of God to test our determination. Vigilant and alert devotee is well prepared to pass those tests. So, association with the devotees. Just like if distilled water is associated with sugar, it becomes sweet. But if it is associated with the poison, it becomes poisonous. So always we should read Prabhupada's books 2-3 times a day, little bit Bhagavad Gita, association with sincere devotees, and attend all the temple programs as far as possible, associate with deities through uh, for their service, offering obeisances to the deities, and always engage in Krishna's service somehow or another. So we should never associate with material. And, so Anukulasha Sankalpa, we should have Saranagati. Saranagati means we should surrender to Krishna. We should do anything that is favorable to Krishna consciousness. One which is not favorable, we should not do it. Renunciation is also necessary. Tyag. Uh, so material enjoyment, there is a fall. Last only in this life, if we want to go for material enjoyment, and also in the future lives, next life. If we become free and could surrender to Krishna, naturally we will remain peaceful, we'll be happy. And if you don't control your mind, then so many future lives would be like you may go to Yamraja's place to suffer in the hell, and so many lower species. So, so solution to this eternal problem is to develop our pure love for Krishna. To control our mind and senses is meant to accelerate and achieve that highest goal. Uh, I wanted to show you there are many verses in Bhagavad Gita starting with 336 that Vivek Brenda with a nice, if you could just show that. And until then I will just read. So mind control is made easy by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, you can start anytime. Okay. Uh, and that is 10 minutes. Don't go for advertisement, but when he just say you could. so so if I am not sincere, then even the easiest process will fail. So we should be chanting. That is very much necessary. These 4 rules that we talk about should be followed. Be sincere, and then the success is guaranteed. It is said that both demons and devotees may have equal knowledge in the scripture, but demons do not care to follow them, whereas the devotees, they follow them sincerely. So insincere, he glides down. Uh, to the hellish planets. But if he is sincere, so we talked about uh, thinking, feeling, and willing, and how it affects us. And our enemy is very very strong. And now enemy that is disturbs our mind. So opposite sex, there is a sex impulse is considered to be the strongest of all enemies. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that even if you do not see the daru, means made of the mannequins, made of wood, that also should not be seen with a lusty desire. It's not for all the devotee, they always think of Krishna, so their mind is on Krishna. But if somebody mind is not on Krishna, they could easily be entangled. That's why Shastra says that you should not be with your mother, daughter, or sister in a Balwan Indriya Gramam. Uh, that Indriya, the senses are very, very strong, and when it could agitate you, do not know. So our effort should also be our very careful, and effort should also be very proportionately strong enough. Yeah, please. And then I will explain what it is in Hindi and English mixed. So yeah, can you increase the volume? Can you put the speaker next to that?
हे वंशी कृष्ण, मेरी तो इच्छा भी नहीं है, अनिच्छा न पी, कोई इच्छा नहीं मेरी, लेकिन बला दीवा नियोजिता, कोई बला दीवा, कोई बलपूर्वक मुझसे ये काम करा रहा है। हे कृष्ण, मैं ये गलतियां क्यों कर बैठता हूँ, मैं क्यों फोकस से डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता हूँ, क्यों मैं अपने गोल से डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता हूँ, ऐसा क्यों होता है कि मैं एब्जॉर्ब नहीं रह पाता, ऐसा क्यों होता है कि मेरा माइंड कंट्रोल में नहीं रहता, ऐसा क्यों होता है कि मैं इधर उधर भटकने लग जाता हूँ। कृष्ण के कहते हैं 3.39, आवृतम ज्ञान में तेना ज्ञानिनो नित्य वहरिना, आवृतम ज्ञान में, आवृतम आवरण कर दिया है, आवरण मतलब कवर, आवृतम ज्ञान में आपके सारे ज्ञान को कवर कर दिया है। ज्ञानी नो नित्य, ये ज्ञानी व्यक्ति का नित्य वैरी, वैरी मतलब शत्रु, ज्ञानी नो नित्य वैरी ना काम रूपेण कौनते हेया, एक कौनते मतलब कुंती पुत्र, एक कुंती पुत्र ये काम के रूप में आता है, लस्ट, लस्ट काम के रूप में, दुष्पुरेण अनलेन च, ये ऐसी अग्नि है, दुष्पुरेण अनल, अनल मतलब अग्नि, ये ऐसी अग्नि है, पूरे दुष्पूरे नहीं, पूरी नहीं होती, कभी बुझती नहीं, ऐसी आग है ये जो लस्ट है, लस्ट ये ऐसी आग है। तो लस्ट के कारण ये सारी डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो रही है। ये लस्ट होता क्या है? लस्ट का मतलब कई लोग समझते होता है केवल सेक्स डिजायर, नहीं सर, केवल सेक्स डिजायर लस्ट नहीं है। एनी डिजायर व्हिच इज आउटसाइड गोल स्टेटमेंट इज लस्ट। दोबारा सुनिए, कम ऑन, एक बार और सुनिए। एनी डिजायर, कोई भी थॉट प्रोसेस जो आपके गोल से बाहर है वो लस्ट है। Any desire, एक बार समझिए ध्यान से बात को, जैसे भगवान का भक्त होता है, उसके लिए भक्ति के बाहर कोई भी डिजायर वो लस्ट है। कोई भी डिजायर का मतलब क्या होगा? मेरे को बड़ी गाड़ी खरीदनी है, यू आर लस्टिंग बिहाइंड दैट कार। मेरे को गोलगप्पे खाने हैं, यू आर लस्टिंग बिहाइंड द गोलगप्पा। का संबंध हो रहा है, यू आर लस्टिंग बिहाइंड दैट ब्यूटीफुल वुमन। इसका मतलब क्या है? लस्ट, जो भी गोल स्टेटमेंट से बाहर वो लस्ट, और यही आपको फंसा देता है। काम रूपेण कौनते हेया, ये कामना के रूप में आएगा। हे कुंती पुत्र, दुष्पुरेण नलेन, ये ऐसी अग्नि है, इसमें जब घी डालोगे आग बुझाने के लिए, तो जब घी डालते हो आग बुझाने के लिए, तो आग बुझती नहीं है और बढ़ जाती है।
Senses can never be satisfied.
खुदाओ तो खुद ही घटती नहीं है और बढ़ जाती है। सेक्स की इच्छा पूरी करके सेक्स करने से सेक्स की इच्छा खत्म नहीं होती और बढ़ जाती है। शराब पीने के बाद शराब पीने की इच्छा पूरी खत्म नहीं होती, अगले दिन और बढ़ जाती है। सिगरेट पीने के बाद सिगरेट पीने की इच्छा समाप्त नहीं होती, अगले दिन और बढ़ जाती है। इसी प्रकार कोई भी व्यस्त पाप कार्य करते हैं वो अगली बार रुकता नहीं है और बढ़ जाता है। ये ऐसी अग्नि है जो बुझाने से बुझती नहीं और बढ़ जाती है। अच्छा, अर्जुन को समझ में आ रहा था कि मेरा शत्रु लस्ट है और ये लस्ट को खत्म करना है, यानी कि वो सारी इच्छाएं जो गुड स्टेटमेंट के बाहर होती है, लस्ट अभी बताया था। ये जो लस्ट है पता चलता है, लेकिन ये रहता कहाँ पे? अब उसका एड्रेस भी तो चाहिए ना आपको। आपको आपका एनिमी मिल जाए तो आप गोली मारेंगे, खत्म करेंगे, लेकिन आपको उसका एड्रेस चाहिए, वो रहता कहाँ पे है? तो अगले श्लोक में एड्रेस दे दिया। इंद्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिर अधिष्ठानम उच्यते एतिर विमोह्यति येषा ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनाम। यानी कि एड्रेस क्या है? इंद्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिर, इंद्रिय मन और बुद्धि अधिष्ठानाम उच्यते, यही है इसकी अधिष्ठात्री। अधिष्ठात्री मतलब अधिष्ठाता, अधिष्ठाता मतलब यही रहते हैं। इंद्रिय मन और बुद्धि, इन तीन जगह पे जाके लस्ट रहता है। अगर आपको लस्ट को अटैक करना है तो इंद्रिय मन और बुद्धि को प्यूरिफाई कर दो। वो प्यूरिफाई, जस्टिफाई मत करो, प्यूरिफाई करो, क्योंकि अगर नहीं किया विमोहयति, विमोहित, विमोहित, ये आपको विमोहयति, ये इतना विमोहित कर देगा। ज्ञानम आवृत्य देहिनाम, ज्ञान से ज्ञान को आवरण डाल देगा, आवरण, ढक्कन। जितना ढक्कन मोटा उतना धंधा छोटा। तो एड्रेस भी पता चल गया, अब समझना कि इसको ठीक कैसे किया जाए। पूरा वीडियो देखिएगा ध्यान से। अगले श्लोक में कहते हैं तस्मात् त्वम् इंद्रियाणि आदौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पापानां प्रजह्येनम् ज्ञान विज्ञान नाशनम्। इसमें कृष्ण वर्ड यूज करते हैं तस्मात्। ध्यान सुनिएगा मेरी बात को। तस्मात् का मतलब होता है देयरफॉर। देयरफॉर हिंदी में कहते हैं इसलिए। देयरफॉर वर्ड को यूज कब किया जाता है? देयरफॉर वर्ड को यूज करते हैं जब कुछ बात को कंक्लूड करना हो। मान लो पहले कोई बातें करी और बाद में उसका सारांश देकर उस बात को कंप्लीट करना हो, तो कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं? तस्मात् त्वम् इंद्रियाणि आदौ, हे अर्जुन तुम इंद्रियाणि आदौ, इंद्रियों से शुरुआत करो। आदो आदो मतलब बिगिनिंग में, इंद्रियों से शुरुआत करो। इसका मतलब अर्जुन, मैंने पिछले श्लोक में बताया था ना, मतलब कृष्ण ने कि इंद्रिया, मन और बुद्धि 3 जगह पे ये कामना रहती है। तो कृष्ण ने कह रहे हैं सबके चक्कर में मत पड़ो, तुमसे होगा ही नहीं, तुम खाली इंद्रियों को कंट्रोल कर लो बस। क्या करो, तस्मात् इंद्रियाणि यादो नियम या, हाथ आगे लाइक नियम या, मेरे हाथ को देखिए, कम आप भी करिए, नियम या, इसको नियमित कर दो। नियमित मतलब रेगुलेट कर दो। इसको रेगुलेट करो, सेंसेस को। सेंसेस कौन सी है? आंख, नाक, जीवा, कान, त्वचा। वन मोर टाइम, कम ऑन, आंख, नाक, जीवा, कान, त्वचा, ये 5 सेंसेस को रेगुलेट कर लो। आप समझिए पूरा का पूरा, आपको मैं यहाँ पे चार्ट दिखाऊंगा, पर चार्ट से पहले समझिए, आत्मा नाम प्रजहि एहेनम, ये इतने पाप कराएगा आपसे, ज्ञान विज्ञान नाशनम, या कि ज्ञान और विज्ञान का नाश कर देगा। आदमी जो बर्बाद होता है ना, जो आदमी फोकस से हटता है, जो गोल से हटता है, उसका यही कारण है। आपका चैंटिंग क्या है, हियरिंग क्या है, रीडिंग क्या है, आप क्या सुनते हैं, किसके साथ उठते हैं, किसके साथ बैठते हैं, कौन सा मूवी देखते हैं, कौन सा म्यूजिक सुनते हैं, दोस्त कैसे हैं आपके, आप किताब कौन सी पढ़ते हैं, आप टेलीविजन के प्रोग्राम कौन सा देखते हैं। जब तक आप अपनी इंद्रियों पे रेगुलेटर पंखे के साथ में रेगुलेटर आता है, म्यूजिक सिस्टम के साथ में रेगुलेटर आता है, एफएम चैनल के साथ गाड़ी में आप उसको रेगुलेट करते हैं। जब भी आपके पास रेगुलेटर हाथ से गया तो आपको बहुत तकलीफ आएगी। वो एयर कंडीशन जिसमें रेगुलेटर ही नहीं है, वो दुख का कारण बन जाएगा। वो पंखा जिसमें रेगुलेटर ही नहीं है, वो दुख का कारण बन जाएगा। वो गर्मी में अच्छा लगता था, सर्दी में आपको दुख देगा। आपके पास रेगुलेटर होना चाहिए। रेगुलेट इसको करना है, आंख, नाक, जीवा, कान, त्वचा। जब इन 5 को रेगुलेट कर लेंगे तो गलत डेटा अंदर जाएगा नहीं। प्रभुपाद क्या कहते थे, जब मैं पानी पीता हूँ तो मैं पानी ही पीता हूँ। मैं उनकी बात इतना प्रभावित हो गया, दोबारा सुनता हूँ, जब मैं पानी पीता हूँ तो मैं पानी ही पीता हूँ। इसका मतलब क्या हो गया, जो आप कर रहे हैं ना उस समय आप वही कर रहे हैं। अपनी इंद्रियों में कुछ और एंट्री मत कर दीजिए, क्योंकि ये सेंसेस, देखिए ये है आपका पूरा माइंड। ऊपर है कॉन्शियस माइंड, नीचे है सब कॉन्शियस माइंड। इस सब कॉन्शियस माइंड को 5 द्वारों से कंट्रोल किया जाए। पूरे 4 को ध्यान रखिए। कॉन्शियस माइंड आपकी मतलब बुद्धि, और सब कॉन्शियस माइंड मतलब आपका मन। तो 3 बातें बताई थी ना, क्या बताया था, इंद्रियाणि मनोबुद्धि। ये इंद्रिया मतलब 5 गेट, आंख, नाक, जीवा, कान, त्वचा, ये 5 गेट हो गए मन के आसपास, और ऊपर है बुद्धि। अब ये बुद्धि, इंद्रिय और मन यहीं पे लटका के रहता है। लेकिन जो अंदर घुस गया इन गेट से, मन के जो अंदर घुस चुका है, उसका तो अभी तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते ना। तो कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं, मैं तुम्हें आसान तरीका बताना चाहूंगा, मेरी बात सुनो, इधर उधर चक्कर मत लगाओ। तस्मात् इंद्रियाणि आदो, आदो मतलब बिगिनिंग, शुरुआत के लिए पहला स्टेप समझो, खाली इंद्रियों को ठीक कर दो। अंदर जो कब तक घुस चुका है आपके, घुस चुका है ना, कोई बात नहीं। आंख के बाद ड्यूटी कीपर लगा दो, वही देखूंगा जो मेरे काम का, नहीं तो नहीं देखूंगा। वही सुनूंगा जो मेरे काम का, नहीं तो नहीं सुनूंगा। वही खाऊंगा जो मेरे काम का, नहीं तो नहीं खाऊंगा। वही सुनूंगा, उसी को हाथ लगाऊंगा, उसी के साथ उठूंगा, बैठूंगा, वही खाऊंगा, वही करूंगा। गोल से बाहर कुछ नहीं करूंगा। तस्मात् इंद्रियाणि आदो, शुरुआत यहीं से होगी। इन 5 इंद्रियों को गोल पे झोंक दो। इनको बिल्कुल, इसे क्या बोलते हैं, एकाकी की भावना। ये 5 इंद्रियां जब एक गोल पर लग जाएंगी ना, तब दिक्कत नहीं आएगी। समस्या क्या है, होती क्यों नहीं, भगवत गीता पढ़ते नहीं है। कब से बोल रहा हूँ, कितने वीडियो से बोल चुका हूँ, जाओ गीता खरीदो, पढ़ो, बांटो, सबको समझाओ। वही इतनी बड़ा स्थान है जो कृष्ण ने दिया ना, कृष्ण बुद्धिमान है। कृष्ण से ज्यादा बुद्धिमान मुझे अभी तक तो कोई मिला नहीं। आपको कोई मिले तो मुझे कमेंट बॉक्स में लिख देना, क्योंकि कृष्ण ने वो ज्ञान दिया है जो प्रश्न उत्तर, अर्जुन प्रश्न करते गए, कृष्ण उत्तर देते गए। यही जगत की रीत है, यही कृष्ण का गीत है। मन के हारे हार है, मन के जीते जीत है। इनका लेना, मन को जीतने के लिए ही भगवत गीता दी गई है। अगर आप माइंड देखिए तो बस ये, या तो मन आपको कंट्रोल कर रहा है या आप मन को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, या इमोशंस आपको कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं या आप इमोशंस को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, या तो सेंटिमेंट आपको कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं या आप सेंटिमेंट को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, या आप मन की सुन रहे हैं या मन आपको अपनी सुना रहा है। बस ये चक्कर है। लोग कहते हैं मैं मन का राजा हूँ, जो मन कहता है वो मैं करता हूँ। मन का राजा नहीं, तो मन का गुलाम है। जो मन कहता है वो तू करता है, और जो मन कहता है।
So it's a small clip. I thought that you will be able to. That rather than reading so many verses from Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 36, 39, 40, 41, it's giving with some actions. And that's why I felt that would be simple. But our mind and heart must be offered to Krishna, just like a father See, one thing, people think that I cannot chant all the time, I cannot remember Krishna all the time. But if you are working for Krishna, then it is really all the work. If you are taking care of the family and family belongs to Krishna, you think that yes, you have given me to take charge of them, wife, husband, children, or job, or anything. You could Krishnaize that. Krishnaize means that it is for Krishna that I am doing. So do not think that you are the doer, or you do not think that I have the intelligence. Krishna is making you do, and it is Krishna who is doing it. We are just an instrument. Never think about the cause of the effect or what is coming is. So our mind, if we offer our mind and heart to Krishna, just like a father working so hard in the office or business or in the paddy field, but his heart is given to his wife and children, and that's why he works for them, earns for them only. Similarly, all our work, thoughts, earning, everything should be connected to Krishna through the tie. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Nath ji ki jai, Shri Shri Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman ji ke. Our all work, starts, earning, everything should be connected to Krishna through the tie of pure love. If we love somebody, like how a man works so many hours in taking care of the family, but he could do it because he loves them. If we if we love Krishna, then everything what would happen would be done by Krishna. So it is the pure heart, directly or indirectly we can serve Krishna. If our heart is truly given to Krishna, if there is no cheating in our love to him, and mind control is no longer difficult. O son of Kunti, whatever you do, yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yad joshi, dadasi, yat tapasasi konteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. So, whatever you do, whatever you eat, sacrifice, whatever austerity you perform, or whatever you donate, you do everything as a sacrifice to me, means to Krishna. So that is Gita 9:27. So it requires our love and sincerity. Then mind control will be automatically achieved. So thank you so much for giving me time and opportunity. So if you have any comments or questions, so that is Krishna consciousness is the last word in mind control. If we uh, if we neglect, then our life is in jeopardy. Human life is very rare. Somehow we have the human life, and the opportunity is there to control the mind, and then our life would be peaceful. We will go back home. If not in one life, may go in few lifetimes. But once you start with Krishna consciousness, it's a permanent asset. None of the material asset is permanent. Thank you. Any comments or anything? Anyone? Questions, comments?
There's a question.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you take to this seriously and sincerely. You follow the instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, what is given in Bhagavad Gita.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Let's oh, you have a question? I'm sorry. Okay, please go ahead.
You should not take any credit or anything, but what about the offenses or doing something wrong? Yeah. No, the blame, that is also our, that we have done something wrong, we have to accept the blame. We give credit that Krishna is doing me to uh, whatever work I'm doing, it is for Krishna. Whatever it is, Krishna should be the center of our life. But if there is any blame, then we have to take it. That's our blame, because we have done something wrong either in previous life or this life, and we have to accept that. Okay, because our mind is not controlled, and we have done something in previous life or even in this life. Okay.
Then the question is more like, if we don't take credit for what we accomplished, then why should we take blame for our mistakes? Why only accept blame and not accept credit?
Because it's a good question, because Krishna has given us independence. He has given us the right choice, what is right and what is wrong. But if our mind is conditioned to do the wrong things, we cannot blame Krishna. Like it is, we are doing it for good thing, we don't give him the credit. For bad thing, we want to give him blame, that yes, you are the one who has pushed us. So we cannot be just duplicitous like this. Krishna wants us to come back home. And if we don't want to go home, he does not force us to go. It is our choice. But blame is always our past karma now. Because he never says that you do such thing wrong. He gives always what is to be done properly. So if you should read, follow, take advice from some saintly people and do those things, then if after doing that properly, what Krishna says, and whatever comes, then Krishna will take that. But there won't be any blame at all. Arjun fought. Arjun did not wanted to fight. Says, I will take a sannyas. And why I should kill my kinsmen and brothers, cousins, guru and grandfather. But Krishna says, no, you should do it. And he did that, Krishna said, and he was glorified. So how we could just say that Krishna did something wrong? He's making you fight with your own brother. We cannot do that. Say that. Okay.
I think one way, like I personally, kind of process this is that, like, the blame. How do you define blame, first of all, right? Like, I mean, if you think deeply, the blame could be more like a temporary, like, hiccup. And if you have faith in Krishna and you are saying that whatever happens, what happened without his will, so your faith will say that, okay, I may perceive this as a blame or an obstacle, but in the long term, I don't know what Krishna plan is, right? So when you see from that perspective, then nothing is a blame and nothing is a credit, because you are just neutral, right? You're equal. You don't really worry about the good or the bad. You just accept that this is part of Krishna's plan and you keep on moving. So then there's no question of, like, giving credit and taking blame. You're just kind of seeing it. So this is my way of processing it. I don't know if that helps.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So there are five elements to what getting that. First is desire, second is paramatma, last is paramatma.
Right.
So indeed, so the desire was ours for taking the blame part. The desire, because initial desire was ours, we take the blame. But when you are trying to accept credit, then you should also give the credit to the other four parts for the work, the result we achieve. And the lastly, the one who permits the paramatma. So, so when somebody is taking the whole credit to himself, so he
No, no, he's just giving the comment. So, no, no, no.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll continue doing Prashadam. If you want to ask a question, can you continue Prashadam?
Say very brief,
Okay, go ahead.
but I don't want to take too much time.
No, just we can
I
be
already
brief.
spoke.
Okay, you did. Okay.
But I will say it.
Okay.
I mean, the ultimate truth is that Krishna is the only doer of all actions, every single action, and that is a little hard for the mind to comprehend, because how can all actions be done by him when clearly there are actions that don't seem good or sattvic? That is the ultimate truth. But as our teacher would have told us, the only way to actually reach that state of experiencing that is by aligning ourselves with only good action. And then ultimately, we are supposed to keep practicing rising above both praise and blame. So that's a whole other aspect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's thank His Grace Shamik Prabhu with 3 loud Hari Bols.